Hello everybody and welcome to another vlog. I'm going to start right off the bat by saying I'm going to try to make the least clickbaity title ever because I am making this a 24-hour reading vlog, but I am not staying up for 24 hours straight. It's not in me. I don't have it in me. It's not for me. I would hate my life. So that's not happening. What I am doing is setting a 24-hour clock and reading until that gets to 0 and pausing every time I am not reading. It is Friday at 3:40 p.m. I have finished my work week. I have the weekend coming up. I do have date night tonight with Zach, but then I don't think we have too many plans this weekend. So my hope is to set a 24-hour clock starting immediately after I'm done filming this intro and finishing it by Sunday night. So in about 2.5 days. I do go to bed quite early. I do have to do my laundry tomorrow. I'm going to work out this weekend. Like, there are things that I'm doing, but other than that, I think I can pretty much get away with reading the whole time. I planned this video weeks ago. I didn't plan it with the intention of finishing my April TBR, but I have kind of an expectation that that might happen, which is crazy. It is the biggest TBR I've had in months, probably ever. 13 books. Because I made my TBR and then I found more books at the library that I read already earlier this month. And my sister picked our buddy read for this month. So there are 6 days in April left to read 4 books, one of which is a short story, another of which I've already started and is a children's book. It's a classic, but it's a children's book. I have my TBR right here, all that's left of my TBR this month, and I am excited to read every book on this list. So I started The Secret Garden yesterday when I was finished reading Face Off, which I didn't put in a vlog, but I loved, by the way. 4.5 stars for Face Off by Chelsea Curto. On chapter 5, about 50 pages in, and this is super cute so far. I haven't gotten too far. I read before I fell asleep last night, and then I read for a few minutes on the treadmill this morning while I warmed up for my workout. If you don't know anything about The Secret Garden, I watched the movie, I think when I was like in elementary school. I don't remember it. I think we rented it on VHS. So that's how long ago I watched this. This is about a girl named Mary who's an orphan, and she grew up in India and she is moved to England on the moors to live with her uncle, who is not blood related, and she hasn't actually met him yet, so she is now at his place. And her mother was very absent. She just kind of wanted her nanny to take care of her, and now this old man, her uncle, is also seeming very absent, so no adults seem very interested in her. She's known to be quite contrary. She's very spoiled. She doesn't really understand life, but she just moved to this place, and the maids there are not treating her like a spoiled brat. They are just making her kind of do things on her own, which is really interesting. And she was just told about the secret garden, and she was asking the gardener how to get in, and he's like, there's no door, it's disappeared. And that's where we're at in this story. This is the first book on the list. I'll just run through what else I have. On my Kindle, I have a short story called The Answer Is No by Frederick Bachman. I believe that there's like some drama going on in this apartment building, and they come to this guy's door and tell him he should have done something different, but it wasn't him that did the thing. And it's supposed to be like a comedic mystery. I also have Half a Soul by Olivia Atwater. I am very excited to read this book. I almost picked this one up instead of The Secret Garden. This is a romance fantasy, also known as a romantasy. And then What Kind of Paradise is the buddy read that my sister chose for this month, and her copy I think is next in line at the library, so she'll be starting this soon. So I hope to also finish this. These are not long books, none of them. So I think if I have 24 hours on a clock, I will say I did just do a realistic week of reading in my life, and it was about 16.5 hours, I think, for 7 days. So it is a big undertaking. I am kind of abandoning my social life for the next few days, and Zach won't be too happy about it. But I've been reading a lot more since I got the brick, and my phone is kind of always off. I can't really use it except for 3 hours a day. I do have a lot of videos I want to watch on YouTube, but I'm going to try to reserve those for when I am doing chores or cooking dinner or something. I'm going to try to do this without audiobooks though, so we'll see how it goes. I guess let me just put a 24-hour clock on my phone and get going. Oh, it only goes to 23. 23, 59, 59. It is such a beautiful morning. I was just sitting outside on the deck reading all morning. My timer is at 20 hours and 52 minutes remaining. I only read for an hour and a bit last night. Zach's movie choice for date night was Oppenheimer, which is 3 hours long. So went to bed. I read like 2 pages and then went to bed. But I did just finish this morning. What time is it? I would have said 9:15. I was awake pretty early. I started reading at like 6:30 in bed, and then Zach brought me a coffee when he got up. And then when I was done my coffee, had breakfast, sat outside and read my book for a couple of hours. Super nice. What a great morning. The Secret Garden is not what I expected it to be. I don't remember anything about the movie. I think I have to watch it. Though I grew up on A Little Princess, which is another book written by her, but I watched the movie over and over and over when I was in elementary school. So I can tell that the book is written by the same person, even without reading that book. Just the stories of growing up in India and the way she writes her children, bringing life to the people around them, and their storytelling is just so similar. There is the casual racism from the 1800s that you kind of have to cringe at while reading, but that was a bit hard to get through at times. But the story itself was very cute. There was a lot about like manifestation. They called it magic. This house has other mysteries in it besides this garden. It makes me want to play The Sims and build a huge manor with gardens outside. I think that would be so much fun. I just had a lot of fun. For a kid's story, it is very well-rounded, quite adult. There was some repetition in the description of the flowers and the animals that got a little bit annoying, but that's fine. I love the kids in this book, Mary and Dickon, and then Colin comes in and he is hard to like. And I still am not crazy about that part of the story, but like whatever. It was still a good story. You could tell it's a classic the way that it's written. It was fun. It was cute. I'm giving it 3.5 stars. And now I'm going to get my steps in this morning and just walk on the treadmill until I work out. So that'll be about an hour of walking. And I think I'm gonna read What Kind of Paradise next. This is about a girl, my camera's gonna die, who grew up in Montana in an isolated cabin and then tries to learn of the world. And it seems like her dad might have been one of those bunker people. What do you call them? Just elusive about their past. Her mother died in a car accident, so he moved off the grid where she grew up. And then when she becomes a teenager, she looks into it and tries to figure out what happened. I'm seeing coming of age growing up in the 90s, two things that I love. This is a beautiful green color. When I'm done on the treadmill, I am gonna get a workout in and get ready for the day, and then keep reading for the rest of the day. Sounds fun to me. Hi guys, let's do a quick update. I'm just realizing there's a reason I like the color of this book. I have just over 19 hours left and it is 2:30 and I am obsessed with this book. I already texted my sister and I said, great buddy reading choice. This book is so good. I think specifically if you're in a book club, this is a great option. It's so good. I am 125 pages in on chapter 24 and it is a fiction book that is reading like a memoir, which is one of my favorite things. We're still in the 90s. This book is almost completely set in the 90s, I'm guessing. The prologue starts with her, I want to say like 2 decades after this, and a reporter comes to her door and is like, do you want to talk about it? Your father's in the news again, or something like that. And then it starts from when she's about 17 years old. Shit's going down, and I don't want to say too much because I think that it is presented very interestingly and in the right order, and it reads so nicely, and I'm already tabbing lots, and I had to look up a few definitions of words. I like when books teach me new words. We are following Jane, who is secluded to this cabin, like I said. She said her closest neighbor is about 15 minutes away, and I think it's about an hour into town, and her dad is writing this manifesto. And I also think it reminds me of Educated and Education. What's that book called? Educated, which is a memoir, except for he is the opposite of religious. He's very mentally unstable, and he goes into these manic episodes. All she knows is him and what he's taught her, so she believes everything he says kind of blindly. And there's even a point where she says, I'm portraying all of this to you in hindsight, knowing that he was unstable, and I'm trying to say it as I felt back then, but it's impossible not to include my current feelings into the matter. And I think that's an interesting take. So some stuff's happening and she's slowly realizing that her dad doesn't know everything, and he's like, I'm Harvard educated, I got 3 degrees in it, all it gave me was debt. And she's been homeschooled her entire life. Her mom died when she was 4, and then they moved to the cabin in Montana. It's not a traditional homeschooling, obviously. He teaches her all of these things that he believes in, and it's all of these other leaders' manifestos is kind of what she's learning. And he teaches her all about free thinking. And then she starts to realize she's not free thinking. She's thinking exactly what her father tells her to. And when he asks questions that should be subjective, she's like, I'm just going to answer how I know he wants me to, or he's going to tell me I'm wrong, even though it's my opinion and it should be my opinion. So it's very interesting. And it's the world of the internet coming in, and so she is kind of trying to secretly figure some things out. He doesn't talk much about her mom or about his past, and she wants to learn some things, so she's trying to use the internet and chat rooms and things to learn how to do this. It's very slice of life, but the big parts of that life are coming in more often than they're not. I think everything I've read so far takes place in about 4 months, which I love the pacing of. So I'm really enjoying it. I have no problem finishing this today. A 5-star if things stay the way that they are. Just the writing itself too is so easy to read. It is very digestible writing while still being complex, which I think is a very difficult place to stay for an author, and she is succeeding at that. I'm not sure if I'll be able to finish by tomorrow, but we'll see. I'm gonna read as long as I can today. Very happily. Literally 25 pages later, and we have a new character and a plot development that I don't think is needed and that I'm not enjoying. So we'll see how that goes. Scratch that last update. It's still really good and things are still working out, and I spoke too soon. I'm having a little mocktail. I have 18 hours and 20 minutes left on the clock. 21 minutes for being exact. I'm listening to Fantasy Lo-Fi. My last load of laundry is in the dryer, and then I should make the bed and fold all of my clothes. So I'll take a little break here around 5 o'clock and then have dinner and then keep reading probably. But I will definitely be finishing this today. I have just finished What Kind of Paradise with exactly 15 hours and 59 minutes left on the clock, so 16 hours. This book was amazing. It did not get worse. It stayed amazing. I would say it's really funny to me that I watched Oppenheimer for the first time last night, and this book draws so many parallels with that movie, and I said that to Zach, and then 20 minutes later I was like, oh, they're referencing Oppenheimer. That is so funny. The guy, not the movie, but you know, his story. Hi. I have another one right here. Hi. Thanks. I think this is my favorite way that general fiction can do storytelling. The narration was wonderful, the visualization was wonderful, the character arcs, the plot, just the way that the story moved in general. Everything about this book was wonderful, and I am giving it an easy 5 stars. I don't want to say too much about the story itself. There was so much ebb and flow to it. It started completely different than it ended, and I loved every minute of it. And I love that it was set in the 90s. So this is 5 stars. I absolutely loved it. I am now going to make the bed, fold some laundry, take a break from reading, just relax for a little bit. It is 6:40, so I'm thinking I'll do that for like an hour. Get ready for bed early, make a cup of tea, and then tuck in with another book. So I'll let you know what I'm reading when I know. She's just freaking adorable. Laundry folded and put away. Bed made. It's 10 after 8. I have just under 16 hours left on the clock, and I'm going to start my short story, The Answer Is No by Frederick Bachman. It's 68 pages, so it should take about an hour. I have a cup of tea, I have a little bit of chocolate. Let's just jump into it. So The Answer Is No took me about 45 minutes to read. This says 15 hours and 17 minutes left. It's 9 p.m. and it took all my energy not to fall asleep. I also don't know what to rate this. It was annoying, and I understand that it was the annoying that was supposed to be funny and that there was a callback and it kind of came full circle, which with a short story I feel like it has to because it's less than 100 pages, but didn't love it. So I don't know what to rate it. I think I'm just gonna do a 2-star. It was a poor choice of me for this to be my first Frederick Bachman piece of literature because I know people love stuff that he's written, and I still really want to read the Beartown series, but also going from a 5-star book to like a comedic palate cleanser is what I was hoping for, and it was just kind of meh. And now, yeah, it's 9 p.m. and I'm debating, do I just go to sleep or do I try to read for like another hour? if I can get this down to 14 hours, I can mostly get it done tomorrow. Maybe not 100%, but I could try. The last book of 13 on my April TBR is Half a Soul by Olivia Atwater, which I'm excited to read, and I think I'm gonna like it. Not that I've actually seen too much from anybody, but it just seems like my vibe. Like a bit cozy, a bit romantic, fantasy, fae. I'm going to not pick this book up yet. I'm gonna say goodnight, and I'm going to pick that up first thing in the morning when I wake up. Alright, I have 14 hours and 5 minutes left. If I let it just run, it will take me till midnight, so I'm not gonna finish today, but that's okay. I'll finish tomorrow at this rate. This book is amazing already, guys. I am 74 pages into Half a Soul, and I am so glad with the books that I chose for this. It makes it very easy to read for hours at a time. The first thing I did when I woke up was take the dogs for a walk, so that's done. I should not have worn shorts. I thought shorts and a sweater will be fine. It's very sunny. I'm so cold, hence the fire. So the prologue starts with a young Dora who is playing outside when she should be doing her sewing or something. She lives with her aunt and uncle. Her parents are already dead, as far as I understand. A fae man comes to her and says, your mother promised me her firstborn, and tries to take her, and then her cousin stabs him with some scissors. He has to let go of her early, and he's like, Kay, you've kept half your soul, let's see if you can make it worth it. And now she is 18 years old, 19 years old, and her cousin is 18, and they are best friends, and she is just a little bit weird, Dora. She has half her soul, so she doesn't maybe react to things the way that a normal girl would. Feels these things deep down, she says, but she can never emote them. So people think that she's just a little bit strange, but she feels mostly herself when she's with her cousin Vanessa. And now they are going to London for the season. She has met this Lord Sorcier, and his name is Elias. And he's going to try to help her and figure out how to get her back to who she was. And it is Regency England, which is so much fun already. Like all of the language that's used and the dresses and the balls, but also people believe in magic. So it's a fun world. We're just getting a lot of the banter and it's so much fun. I am really enjoying it. I have no problem reading this book today. I don't even think it's that long, under 300 pages. So I will have to choose something else to read after this, obviously, maybe even 2 books. We'll see. 14 hours is a long time. I'm really enjoying it. This is a very good book. Wow. What a good run. I don't want to say too early that I'm getting 5-star feelings, but I am. And I've already had 3 5 stars in April. 4 total for this year. So that's kind of crazy. Very good book. Very good book. No, that's stupid. Okay, I'm about 2/3 of the way through Half a Soul, and I have 12 hours and 20 minutes left on my clock, and I am still obsessed with this book. I think that I would read this in one day, whether or not I was challenging myself to do that today. I think I'm thinking 6 stars, which I haven't done yet this year, I don't think. The best book I've read this year. And I thought that yesterday with What Kind of Paradise. I'm gonna start by saying Elias, our male main character, is blonde, and I'm not mad about it. I hate when people DNF books because of it, or even make jokes that they're gonna DNF books because of it. Blonde people exist. And I think Legolas was my first crush, one of my first crushes. So that's just kind of who I picture every time there's a blonde character, and I'm not mad about it because Orlando Bloom is hot and he looked good blonde. So that's kind of who I picture with Elias. Just saying. This book is very dialogue heavy in a really good way. I love the dialogue between the characters, and when you're not getting dialogue, you're getting Dora's inner thoughts, and her narration is great as well. So it's people sparring with each other, mainly her and Elias, but her sparring with other people too, and trying to hold her tongue, knowing that she's not supposed to say certain things deep down, but sometimes not being able to stop herself. And it's just a great dynamic. Like, I absolutely am having so much fun. And just the romance in general. I just read one of the best chapters, chapter 13, and I just started highlighting the romantic parts because so freaking cute. So good. So good. The tension lasted the perfect amount of time, and now the romance is becoming a little bit more chaste and cute and finding it very believable. There's nothing worse than when the tension breaks in a romance and you're like, oh, actually they have no chemistry. They got the chemistry. Whenever I have a book this good, I'm like, dang it, the next one I read, no matter what it is not going to hit that threshold. So I almost want to pick something I'm not expecting to be a 5-star read, just to get back into wanting a good book after it, if that makes sense. Anyway, I'm in love. So obsessed. Okay, let's go downstairs and keep reading. Finished half a soul. I have 11 hours and 16 minutes left. Yeah, it's 6 stars. This is going on the list as one of my favorite books of all time. I absolutely loved it. And there wasn't anything particularly special about it. I just never got annoyed with the writing or the story or the plot or the characters. It was so good. I would say it classifies as cozy romantasy. Nothing crazy ever happens, but everything just makes sense. The characters contradict each other. That is their banter. They're always arguing with what the other person is saying, even when they're right, and they're just trying to reword it to be the one that's right, and they're just kind of snarky and cute. And Elias folds so fast in the best way possible. There is a subplot this whole time of like some secret plague that's affecting children that they're trying to figure out, but it's not a huge plot line, really. It just kind of is always there. 240 pages. That is such a nice, short, sweet novel. So I'm gonna put this in my reading journal. I haven't done that yet. I have been doing it right after finishing each book instead of starting on the next one. It gives me a little break from reading, but I do need to pick my next book. And like I said, because I loved this book so much, I am not sure what to choose next. I think not something that I think I'm going to absolutely love, but something that I can still binge. So my plan is for a romance. Actually, an Agatha Christie book, not a bad shout. I could read one of these. Don't know if I want to. You know what I'm gonna read? I'm gonna read Terms and Conditions. This is the second book in Dreamland Billionaires. In the first book, the guy owns an amusement park that I think is akin to like Disneyland. So in this one, I'm not sure what happens. I think it's his brother. I think it's all of their brothers, the 3 guys. I didn't love the first book, but I did find it bingeable and I enjoyed it and I read it very quickly. So I think that's exactly what I'm after post reading a 6-star read. So I'm gonna put this in my reading journal, then I'm gonna go back outside and read Terms and Conditions, which is a beautiful green color. This is such a nice cover. All right, another update. I have just shy of 9 hours left on the timer. So at this rate, I'll probably be done by Tuesday night, which is not bad still for reading 24 hours. Now for Terms and Conditions update. I am almost halfway, chapter 21, 200-ish pages in, and this is exactly what I thought it would be and exactly what I needed. It is a romance that I can read very quickly, but I'm not loving it, but I am liking it. You're both here. At least go on the bed. Let me do a little synopsis. This is a marriage of convenience trope, I guess you would call it. It's more a necessity marriage for one person, and I don't know why the other person chose to go along with it. Like, the marriage itself actually doesn't totally make sense for me for half of the party, and I am annoyed by that, but that's okay. Let's look past that. Let's pretend that there's a good reason that she said yes to doing this. The first book was Grumpy Sunshine, which I think is my least favorite trope. So I was like, okay, good, we're gonna get something else. I love forced marriage. He's grumpy and she's not sunshine, but he's grumpy. He's an asshole. I guess it makes sense because they were raised the same. So this is Declan, the oldest brother. Rowan was book 1, and he's just a jerk, and he's putting out all these red flags, and I don't understand. Okay, I understand if she falls for it, but I don't think he's a good person. So that's actually my biggest struggle right now. Iris, I love. She's great. She's his assistant, so there's a power dynamic there. She is 12 years younger than him. She knows everything about him, and he doesn't know much about her, or he pretends he doesn't, but he actually does, because obviously you learn from the get-go that he's actually kind of obsessed with her. I'm liking it though, despite those things, because it's a romance. It's easy to read. I do really like Iris. She's best friends with the youngest brother, Cal. I like their dynamic together and the banter, except for he is just an asshole and he just switches off like that, and I just can't get over that, especially because she always talks about her past with having a mean father, a deadbeat dad who left, or who they ran away from, and he was abusive, and he is not a nice person. So I'm like, okay, you gotta see the parallels here. I don't know. I get a grumpy main character, but usually it's like, oh, they see that he was kind to the people he works with, or to his family, or to his friends. He doesn't have any friends. He doesn't like the people he works with. He's not close with his brothers. He's just an asshole. I guess I should also include that he had to get married. So like book one, I forget what the terms and conditions of that will were, but the conditions of his grandfather's will for Declan is that to become the CEO, he needs to get married and have a child. So obviously he thinks he was broken and he needed to find that love to become human again, is the sense I'm getting. So that's my 6 p.m. update of terms and conditions. I hope to finish this today. I'm not sure if I'll be able to in 2.5, 3 hours, but my alarm was going off at 5:30 in the morning, so I don't really want to be asleep past 9:30. So we'll see what that looks like. It is the next morning. I finished terms and conditions before I fell asleep last night. I think it was like, I don't know, 9:20, 9:30-ish when I put it down. I don't have much to say about this book. It is so meh. Definitely liked it less than the first one, and I didn't love the first one, but I was like, oh, good little romance, good series just to read when I'm not sure what to read and I want a romance book, and this is not as good as the first one. I think I gave it the same rating. I'm giving this 3 stars because it wasn't difficult to read. I was okay with spending a day reading it. The writing is okay. The dialogue is quite cringy, and the word choices are very repetitive. So I gave it 3 stars. I didn't love it. I don't think this couple should be together. I think that the last 20% of this book with the big conflict was so stupid, and he should not be forgiven, in my opinion. That is like, I'm never going to talk to you again worthy stuff. The third book is Cal, who is the better brother of the 3. He definitely has addiction problems. He doesn't have the same anger problems that these first 2 brothers have, which is good. But I just like, it was very lackluster for me. I started this morning with about 6 hours and 10-ish minutes left on the clock. And then I read on the treadmill for like 10 minutes before I worked out this morning. So now I have 5 hours and 57 minutes and 57 seconds left. That's kind of fun. At 5:30 in the morning, I had to choose a book because I didn't really think about it. And I decided to do some math and figure out how many pages I could read in 6 hours. And I think it's about 350. So I chose Please Tell Me by Mike Omer on my Kindle. I think this was a Kindle First Reads last year or something like that. And it starts off really well. I only read the first 2 chapters and they're so good. So there's a little girl who was abducted a year ago, and in the prologue, she, I guess, has escaped, and someone finds her walking down the road, and she's 9 years old, and she doesn't talk, which is why it's called Please Tell Me. So she goes to see a child therapist who uses play therapy a lot. We're not there yet. I just know that from the synopsis that she's gonna go see her and she's gonna try to make her talk. And in this last year, this therapist has been seeing the other kids in her class and her friends who miss Kathy, this girl who was taken, and now she's gonna come back, which is so strange. So it starts off really well. Like, I'm hooked from the get-go. So this book should take me about 6 hours to read. It is 8 a.m. on Monday, so I do have work today. I have to walk the dogs and make dinner and stuff, so I won't get that much reading done today. I think I'd be able to finish this tomorrow, this challenge, because again, I gotta wake up at 5:30 in the morning tomorrow, so I'm not gonna stay up past 9:30. I'm also trying to keep these updates brief because I'm reading so many books. Usually it's like 3 in a video, and I don't even know what I'm at right now. This is book 6, so we're doubling it. So I'm trying to keep it brief. I will see you after work when I keep going. Okay, I've spent about an hour reading so far, so I have just under 5 hours left, and it's 8 p.m. and I've read about 100 pages now. And my feelings have changed a little bit. I'm not mad at this book. It still started off very well. It's going very well. I am so curious what happened to this little girl because she's still not saying anything. There's all of these things alluding to the fact that it was probably somebody that she knew that took her. But the things that are annoying me in this book are actually the side characters. So we get Robin's point of view and Claire's point of view, and Claire is Kathy's mom, the girl who went missing. And everyone else in their life is pissing me off. Robin's mom is absolutely awful. Her ex-husband is awful. Kathy's dad, not great. We're just seeing their conversations with these people and them just being annoying, and it's almost to the point of unbelievable. And then the other thing is endless mentions of COVID. It is so bothering me. They keep relating these things to COVID because she went missing at the height of COVID. At the beginning, I was like, whatever, it happened. It's okay to say that it happened and that the kids in Kathy's life made them synonymous, her disappearance and COVID, because they were around the same time, whatever. But it's like every chapter there's something about it and it's bothering me. I'm not sure how I feel because I have a lot of things that I'm enjoying and I definitely would like to keep reading. I don't feel sick of reading it. I want to read it. I want to know what happened. But at the same time, the writing and some of the side things and the extra characters, I'm like kind of over. It's 8 p.m. I just made a cup of tea. I will try to last until 9:30 tonight and then finish this tomorrow. I walked the dogs today, so Zach's gonna do it tomorrow. I'm gonna keep trucking along for at least another hour and then I'm gonna shower and go to bed. I finished Please Tell Me. Just finished reading it after dinner and it was pretty good. You know, I think it was actually better than I was expecting and I was surprised by the ending. Very surprised. I think I would give it a 4, except for all of the COVID stuff was so annoying that I'm gonna put it down to a 3.5. And I think that's all I'm gonna say about it because it's suspenseful and there's a serial killer on the loose. You're in multiple people's heads. I can't really say too much about the story itself. Everything that I said still stands. I wish maybe there was some more closure with the mom side of things for Robin, but there wasn't. There was a little bit of romance that I wasn't expecting that I enjoyed. I really liked the detective who was like kind of leading the case and worked with Robin with her therapy knowledge. I think maybe it wrapped up a bit too neatly at the end, but that's okay. I feel like that always happens with these books and you actually don't want them to go on too long because that would be crazy. It's 7:15. I have an hour and 40 minutes left. So I'm not sure what to do. I'm thinking that I'm probably going to pick up Common Goal by Rachel Reed. I can't believe I was hoping to get this done on Sunday and now it's Tuesday. But Zach said to me, oh, you should have done something where like you tried to read for 24 hours for a whole weekend. I'm like, that is what I tried to do. It didn't work. So next time I do it will be when we don't have a date night on a Friday and then I can probably sacrifice a little bit of sleep maybe. I didn't really do that this time, but I have an hour and 40 minutes left. I can get at least 100 pages into this, maybe even halfway tonight. I am going to quickly put this in my reading journal just to get it out of my head, and then I will move on to this. You done did it. I finally did it and finished my timer at about 9 p.m. and went and got ready for bed and went straight to bed. But I got about halfway through Common Goal, so I read 142 pages. I'm not going to finish it for this vlog, unfortunately, but I can give you my initial thoughts for the halfway point, which are that I am really enjoying it. Don't know how it wasn't spoiled for me or I didn't realize that it was Kyle and Eric. So it's Kyle, the bartender at Kingfisher, and Eric Bennett, Benny, Scott's best friend, is recently divorced. He was with the same woman for like 20 years and he has known he was bisexual that whole time, but hasn't really verbalized it or kind of minimized it because he was with a woman. And now he feels ready to have experiences with men. At first it was to prove it to himself, and now he's like, you know what, I don't have to prove it to myself. And he's getting close to Kyle. It says it's going to be friends with benefits, but we haven't gotten to that point quite yet. It follows the same kind of vibe as the other books. Obviously, it's in the same series, it's by the same author. But I do think that I am appreciating the narration of this book more than a couple of the other ones. I already like this better than I liked Tough Guy. And I'm not sure what it is. I think just the vibes are a little bit better and it's just a little bit more fun. And obviously they're still going through things, but I think my problem with Tough Guy was the self-deprecating stuff that specifically Ryan kept saying about himself, and that's not happening here. They're both pretty secure guys. They have a lot in common. They have art in common, and I am really enjoying it. And there's a lot of Kip and Scott, which is fun, obviously, because it's always fun to bring them back. And Elia had a good chunk of time in like the first 50 pages, and I loved it. He's just so perceptive and fun, and I can't wait to get back to Elia and Shane because of that. I think I'm gonna finish this today or tomorrow. Like I just said, fast read. I'm gonna get through it very quickly. I'm already halfway after, what was it, an hour and a half? So I'm not gonna finish it for the vlog. Maybe I'll just put my rating here so you guys know what my final rating was. I'll also have it on Goodreads. I put everything on Goodreads in live time as I read it. And that's the end of this video. It's really fun to have a video where I read, what am I at now, like 6 or 7 books in 4 days. That is insane, by the way. That's insane. So I think I'll try it again one time in a shorter amount of time. I will sacrifice some sleep. I just have to choose the right weekend where it makes sense for me to do that. This weekend probably it would have made sense. I just didn't. I love my sleep. Maybe one time I'll just have to say nothing but reading and read 12 hours for 2 days or something like that. But I had a lot of fun. I'm gonna start a new reading vlog, I think on May 1st. So come back if you want to see that. And thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.